Welcome to My Fitness Fight, where I share my journey in fitness, health, and all things fighting related. Today we're taking a look at self-defense tutorial wins and fails, and it seems like the theme of the day is going to be reverse elbows. Let's get into it. Alright, so the first couple things that they showed are completely useless and the type of thing that people who maybe have some martial arts experience or some sort of combat sports experience put together when they're trying to invent a self-defense curriculum. And so this is a really good example of it. So if we look at this self-defense situation they have here, this is a larger male attacker pressing a female against the wall by her throat. That's a very bad position to be in. If you're physically smaller and weaker than someone, then you really need to avoid being backed up against a wall, especially in a position where they have a hold of you like that. There are, of course, times when you want your back close to a wall so that no one can get behind you. But when you're up against someone who's bigger and stronger than you and your heels are literally touching the wall like that, it's not a good place to be, and there are not a lot of good options from here. And what she does is definitely not an option. So the idea that he was actually trying to hold her against the wall and she just effortlessly batted his arm away is ridiculous. If he had any amount of his weight putting tension into his arm against her chest or her neck, she would not be able to knock his arm away. That's not saying that it would be completely impossible for her to get free, but definitely not in such an effortless way like that. And now, see, he's just standing here like dumbfounded as if he was expecting no resistance and he's never faced resistance before. And now she's going to throw the back elbow, which is almost never going to be a good idea in a self-defense situation. Now, most legitimate self-defense instructors will tell you that you use what works in the moment. It's not about a specific technique. But when it comes to something like a reverse elbow like that, I think even if he just stood there and she hit him with that reverse elbow as hard as she could, it probably wouldn't hurt him very much. Whereas if she smashed him in the face with her palm or threw a proper like Muay Thai style elbow or a knee or something like that, she would have a much better chance of hurting him. And so now they're going to do it again. It's the same thing. Now, these next couple techniques are technically real, but they would not work in the situation that they're presenting them in. So you see, the idea here is that he grabbed her shirt or something, and then she reaches over and creates a lock on his elbow. There's no way that she would be able to execute this before he could just pull his arm away. And again, he's behaving like some sort of automaton here. He's still holding onto her shirt and not trying to defend his arm at all, which you don't need training to do that. That's just natural. When someone wraps your arm up and starts trying to hyperextend your elbow, the natural response is to pull your arm away. And he's enough bigger than her that she wouldn't be able to just lock him in like that. And while that is technically a real technique, as in you can lock someone's elbow up that way, it would almost never work in a standing position like that. That's the kind of thing that you need to have someone flat on their back, holding them in a pin, and then you could get a move like that. But even then, there's not a lot of like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Sambo guys that would go to that kind of technique because it's just not a super powerful one. There's better ways to hyperextend someone's arm or to attack their shoulder. And these kind of joint locks are very impractical in a freestanding place where the person can just move their feet or bend their torso as much as they want. And against someone who's physically larger and stronger than you, you would have almost no chance. This is a similar type of thing. It's a real technique, and she looks like she knows how to execute it. But the idea that she would just effortlessly toss him around like this is ludicrous, right? And also the idea that she would just pull off this armbar from guard, it's very silly. And again, it looks like they probably do have some sort of martial arts or combat sports training. I'm not commenting on whether they're good or not because I can't see that from this. But this does look like the type of kind of generic self-defense curriculum that people who have a little bit of martial arts or combat sports training would put together. And they may actually think that they know what they're doing, but I can guarantee you that if either of them was in a self-defense situation, they would not be using any of these techniques. All right, so this is similar type of stuff so far. You can see that's like kind of an even sillier version of what she did to him with the arm lock, the standing arm lock. And some of the principles behind this aren't bad, but the specific ways that they're using them is just not a good idea. Like in this specific case right here, yeah, you can definitely take someone down just by kind of picking up their foot if they're off balance. But doing it from a position where you have to bend over and reach between your own legs is not a good idea, because in that situation there, again, it relied on this guy, on the attacker, being completely wooden and not moving in a natural way. If he had actually been an aggressor, when this guy bent over to grab his foot, he would have just shoved him and he would have gone head over heels. All right, so I have mixed feelings about this one. Most of what she's doing is not really technically sound, especially in the sense that, like, look, this guy's arms are like twice as thick as hers. It looks like her legs are only a little bit bigger than his arms. He would effortlessly overpower her in any of these situations. And not only are the techniques that she's using not things that would really work in this situation, she's, for the most part, not doing them correctly. However, there is one thing that I really like about this video, which is that she's being aggressive. And something that way too many people who call themselves self-defense instructors fail to address is aggression. You can see how in most of these scenarios, as soon as he makes some sort of inappropriate contact with her, she goes from 0 to 60 in like half a second, and she is just immediately in his face and then shoving him, right? And that one is probably the best technique that they did, because she literally just shoved her hand in his face, and that could have been like an eye rake or something, and then she just kind of tripped him and ran away. The right idea is to be more aggressive than they are before they're ready for it, and then use that advantage to escape. And so I kind of like the energy behind this, but the actual stuff that she's showing is not good. All right, so I have some big issues with this one, and the main reason that I have an issue with it is that it's staged combat. It's not a self-defense demonstration. It's actually pretty good staged combat. You can see, like, he's right in her face here. He's got his hand wrapped around her neck. It looks pretty convincing. And then when she hits him with the elbow, it looks like she's swinging it pretty hard. It looks like it would hurt if she had actually hit him. But unfortunately, none of that is real. This is just, like I said, staged combat. And I actually have some staged combat training. I've done a fair bit of it back when I was an actor. And I've really done all the different types of fighting related stuff. I've done martial arts. I've done self-defense training. I've done combat sports like mixed martial arts. And I've done staged combat. And I would assume that they created this staged combat scene in order to demonstrate what they consider to be a legitimate self-defense technique. But we actually already covered this type of situation where a larger attacker has a smaller person against a wall with their hand around their neck. And like I said before, there's really not a lot of good options from here for the defender. And what she demonstrates is definitely not a good option. So she's saying, like, don't try and pry his hand off. I mean, that's saying don't focus on the choke is like, if the choke is hurting you, if it's stopping you from breathing, then you do need to focus on the choke first. The truth is, even though this looks bad because his hand is like the size of her neck, it's actually very difficult to manually choke or strangle someone like that, especially one-handed. Usually when someone goes for a manual strangle, they'll be doing it with both hands, and they'll be like pushing their thumbs into the person's throat and crushing them against a wall like this, or crushing them against the ground. And there's a reason why catch wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu don't use manual chokes and strangles like this at all. It's because they're really not that effective. It's a good way to burn your hands out. But based on the size difference, like, she's pretty small and he looks like kind of a normal sized guy, which makes him significantly heavier than her. So he could probably squeeze her neck hard enough there that she would start to black out from the compression on her arteries, or potentially have her airway start to close up. And so if that was the case, then she would absolutely need to focus on the choke first. She could try prying his fingers, or she could try kind of twisting downward into the side to try and put herself in a position where he couldn't maintain the grip. But I'm just going to say it, in this kind of position, I would be going for the eyes. When someone who's bigger and stronger than you has you up against a barrier like this, the issue is that in any way that you can hurt them, they can hurt you much worse and much faster, because they already have their hand on your neck and they have you stuck against a wall. And so if you're going to do something, it has to either completely break you free, or it has to hurt them so much so fast that they stop thinking about attacking you. And I mean, she could try kneeing him in the balls here, but that does not work most of the time. It doesn't work nearly as well as people tend to think, because a knee to the groin like that is really a pain-only technique. And when guys are hopped up on rage or drugs or anything like that, a knee to the balls just isn't going to put most guys down, no matter how perfectly it lands. But the eyes are kind of a different thing, because if you jam your thumbnail in someone's eye, it's very, very painful, and that will do it sometimes, but it's also kind of terrifying because it temporarily blinds them. When you have a foreign object enter your eye, it's so painful and so immediately physically traumatizing that it's very difficult to not immediately flinch away from it and try and protect and recover your eye, because again, it will blind you temporarily. And as soon as you realize that you're going blind in one eye, your instinct is to try and make sure that you don't go blind in that eye and make sure that you can still see out of it. And so that's kind of like the only thing that I would see that she would have as a really good chance here. She could jam her thumb in his eye. She could rake his eye with her fingers. And I would say like start with something like that and then just go ballistic. Do everything she can to break away after that initial attack. But what she actually does is just completely useless. So you can see there, he was pressing, he was very close to her. He was pressing her against the wall with a hand on her neck. And she basically tapped him on the shoulder. And because she tapped him on the shoulder, he let go of her and backed up so that she could throw that elbow. And that's why I say this is staged combat. That is completely unrealistic. And I don't know what self-defense technique they thought they were demonstrating, but if you're intent on strangling someone, you're not going to let go and back off because they tap you on the shoulder. Here we have another reverse elbow, and I actually kind of like the forearm strike. It's not something that you would have an occasion for very often, but there definitely are situations where you might not have the opportunity to hit someone with a fist or an elbow, so a forearm or a shoulder will do. But overall, this looks like BS self-defense instruction to me. The way that he kind of like is casually slapping him around. See how he says like, oh, look, he's holding my wrist and I can just pull my hand away. And then he just like slaps him and then throws this ridiculous reverse elbow. None of that is anything that a real self-defense instructor would be focusing on. It's way too fine a technique in the sense that it's very detailed and specific to that unique situation. And not only is it unlikely that you would ever end up in this exact situation in a self-defense place, like a place where you can just effortlessly pull your hand away by slapping the guy in the face. But also, because of how unpredictable self-defense can be, training for that detailed of a scenario just doesn't make a lot of sense. And this guy does strike me as someone who probably does have some training and some experience, but it seems like he's getting a little bit too creative with it and thinking to himself like, well, I'm big and strong and really good at fighting, so I can do these things, and that means that I could teach other people. And it's like, no, you need to teach people the fundamentals of how to protect themselves and how to avoid harm. Fighting kind of becomes part of that at a certain point, but you're not teaching like specific reverse elbow moves. I don't know what this is. I'm going to end the video there.